Welcome to Married to the Boss.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are glad to be back with you. Took a week off last week.
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
To be thankful.
That's right. We took the time out to be thankful, and you enjoyed your time with your family as well. This week, we are going to be talking about running an efficient meeting, and we're doing that because we are officially in the month of December, and in December we have a lot of things going on, not just at the office but also in our personal lives. So time is one of the things that we do not have enough of in the month of December. So we're going to try and make the best of our time at work, at the office, in running an efficient meeting. So our tips based on our experience is what we're going to talk about today. So,
yes.
I guess I will get started, and I'll just throw my first suggestion.
Yep.
That maybe if we share 5 suggestions with the audience for them to use it or consider it. Yeah. My first recommendation is to have somebody be the ringleader. You got to have somebody to plan the meeting and somebody to assign. Make sure that tasks get assigned during the meeting. So that would be my first recommendation, is to have somebody that's going to actually run and manage the meeting. Otherwise, you're going to have a circus. And that's the reason I say that you want to have a ringleader to corral everybody's attention and make sure that the meeting is well worth everybody's time.
In our case, who was the ringleader?
Usually it's me.
So ringleader, give them an idea of.
What? I just said that, ringleader.
I know.
Idea for what?
As a ringleader, what was the first thing that you did in coordinating a meeting?
Well, the first thing that I did was, obviously, I would schedule the meeting. Hello. I would schedule it. And that's the obvious one.
It's that time of year.
Yes, it is. It's very hard to focus on, serious stuff. So,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, the first thing I would do is schedule the meeting.
Mm-hmm. So, especially this time of the year, you have to take advantage of having meetings with your staff and with your clients both.
Absolutely, about that. That is a good point.
Because I've said this for many years, and whether it's true or not, it's just my take on it, and that is, I do not believe people are in a mindset to work from the weekend before Thanksgiving all the way through the new year.
Very true.
It's tough to keep your staff's attention, to keep them focused. It's even tougher to get a hold of your clients and to speak with them and to get their attention, because of course they're thinking the same thing we are during the holidays. And then you have partners out there as well that you'd like to even do meetings with in preparation for the new year that's coming up. And they're all on vacation, mental and physical. And it's very, very, very challenging when you're an entrepreneur and you're taking advantage of every day and still every hour. I mean, we did not let down during the holidays, but you're not in control of who you're doing business with other than your staff. And your staff's taking vacations. Mm-hmm. So your staff's taking some vacations. You got your clients that are doing the same thing. You got partners that are doing the same thing. It's a real challenge, but you can, if you lay out a strategy prior to the holidays and communicate what your plans are with meetings, you can control a lot of that.
Very true. And part of that is part of being the ringleader and scheduling the meeting involves the responsibility of planning that meeting. And planning the meeting, to me, includes providing an agenda, identifying the purpose of the meeting, and also making sure that whenever the meeting takes place, if it's an internal meeting, of course, not necessarily a client meeting, but if it's an internal meeting, you want to make sure that you set the rules up front, what the expectation is to you as the ringleader, or to whoever the ringleader is, or whomever is going to be benefiting from the outcomes of that meeting. To identify what the rules are in order to have time together that's efficient, and everybody's going to look back and feel good about that time spent, because it's time you're not going to get back. The other thing is also that I believe it's important, that's actually my number one pet peeve, is time, keeping the meeting on track.
Yes, and with you with time, I had to be coached into an hour meeting as an hour meeting with this one, because when she holds a meeting and she says it's only going to be a half an hour, she expects it to be a half an hour, and she's going to cut it off regardless if the meeting's over or not. So there is no, everybody gathering and doing a kumbaya before the meeting. It's sit down and let's start the meeting. Mm-hmm. That's really important to be efficient like that, because that can get out of hand. I mean, you see people just in offices standing around a coffee maker for 15 minutes talking about how they're going to save the world before, even starting work. When you're starting your own business, really, I can't stress enough, every minute counts. Mm-hmm. And, having a preset meeting and having a timeline put to it, it sets the stage for everybody. So what we did in some of our meetings is, depending on how many people are in the meeting, let's just say, keep it simple, say it's 5, it's a small staff, and there's let's say myself and 5 of the team members. And, you keep a meeting for a half an hour. Okay, that's 6 people, everybody gets 5 minutes. So in that 5 minutes, what I want to hear is what we were able to accomplish this past week, and what are your plans to accomplish next week? So let's go ahead and start. Take your 5 minutes. Okay, you're good. 5 minutes is up. Your turn. And you set the stage like that, and it's a very disciplined process, and it's very, very productive. And then once you do the first, second, third, fourth, fifth meeting, it just you don't have to worry about time anymore. Everybody is used to that strategy.
I like that. I like that a lot, because that's how I run my meetings. I also,
we run separate meetings, so we have no idea what we're doing with meetings.
I also like to include, I personally, it's one of my things that I do, is I like to make it known that how much time we have left. So one of the things that I use a prop in my meetings, and that happens to be the hourglass that was always present in every one of my meetings. And as soon as my meeting started, that hourglass was flipped. And as soon as the sand was going to run out of time, that meeting was over. So to me, it's really important to make sure that you keep track of time, and that you keep everybody on task in regards to the purpose of the meeting. And
I need to add something to that.
Okay.
So here we are, we're a couple, and we have meetings. She uses the hourglass on me.
That's true. That's true. I even have 2 hourglasses. I have one that's half hour.
It doesn't matter who you are.
That's a full hour.
That's right. It doesn't matter who you are.
And I always, one of my other pet peeves with meetings are that a meeting should really have a purpose. If there is no purpose for that meeting, for me, don't even bother inviting me to that meeting. Because if I'm not going to be contributing in one way or another, or if I'm not going to be taken away from that meeting, I do not want to be part of any meeting. To me, that's in my book a waste of time. So I don't like to waste my time, and I also, as a return, I like to respect others' time, and I don't like to waste their time. So
I think that's really important, because if you don't have that time management within a meeting, and you don't teach your staff what your expectations are, your meetings are going to be out of control. I mean, they're going to go in different directions, and I don't know anybody that likes meetings. I think that should be said. I personally do not like meetings, but you have to have meetings.
You would be surprised. I've been in companies where everybody is meeting all day long, 8 hours full of meetings, and I just don't comprehend how they cannot get their head around the fact that they're never getting anything done.
You can't do your job if you're doing. Just think about it for a second. Let's say you have 4 meetings a day, and then you've got emails, and then you've got phone calls. I don't know how you can run a department, let alone run a company.
Very true.
So it's very, very challenging. And as couples in a startup business or a small business, and you got to be nice about it. I mean, we're nice about it. We're not dictators, and what you see here is what you get. This is the way we talk to our staff, but they understand that we're serious, even though we do like to, kid around a lot. But we treat employees in our company like family. So it's they need to walk away with that. Okay, this meeting was good. I got to share what I needed or what I did. They feel like somebody told them that they did a great job. Nope, we're behind. We got to work a little bit quicker. It's a finger on the pulse in a business, and as an entrepreneur, you have got to stay close. And those meetings, as much as I don't like them, those have to be regular, and they don't have to be every day. To me, meetings, you got to have a staff meeting every week, but during the week, you can make sure that you're around to support what they're doing.
And in order to make that time, to put that time to good use, you want to also set the expectation for those meetings and identify the goals. So that's how I always start out. That's part of my MO, is to not just plan the meeting and make sure that I set the rules for the meeting, and also identify how much time we have together, as well as how much time we have left. I also like to identify the goals. So I make sure that everybody is aware of the expectation, that when the meeting is over, what is it that we're going to accomplish. So that's important.
Yeah, I really can't add more to that one, other than if you don't go into a meeting with your own objectives or your own goals, again, your staff watches the way you walk and the way you talk, and they want to learn from you. So you teach them in your meetings by holding a good meeting, by holding a no thrill, type of meeting, and that you're focused on what you're trying to get, out of, for calling the meeting. I mean, I've been through numerous meetings, too many to mention, and I've seen every kind. I've seen where somebody just walks in and just, as in, let's say you're an owner of a company, and they just sit at the table and they don't say a word. Or the president of a company, and they just let everybody around the table say their piece, and they never say a word. They get up and they leave. Or it's the opposite. They get in, they don't let their staff talk, and they do all the talking, and the staff doesn't get a chance to, get across what they need to get across in a meeting. We said it from the first podcast. Communication is so, so, so important in a business, and having meetings, and communicating what the meeting is about is the same thing. It's so important.
It is a necessary evil. Of course, it's not really evil, but you know what I mean.
Right.
The last thing that I want to share is that it's critical that you gather notes in regards to the meetings. That's important only because not everyone's going to remember the details of why you got together and what the objective was and who was tasked with what. Not all the meetings are going to result in everything being accomplished within that time frame that you have allotted. So you may have some action items that might be required offline or after the meeting is over, sometime outside of the meeting environment that somebody needs to follow through with, and you want to make sure that you record what that is and who's responsible. And make sure that you share that with everybody in the group. That way you can hold everyone that attended the meeting accountable. So accountability is a good thing. Yeah,
I'll throw out an idea on that. So there's two ways. One, you can assign somebody to take notes. That's an easy one. Or you as the owner, if you want to take notes, you can take notes. I personally like handing out or actually asking, in this case, staff to use a spreadsheet on what their projects are, what the timelines are. They can make notes on it. They would provide that spreadsheet to me, and it wasn't very big. It's a small spreadsheet of their projects, their tasks. They get that back to me, and I would group all that into one, and I would share that among the other staff that was in that meeting. That way, if there's others, it's not always about one person that's doing a task. There could be 2 or 3 people doing the task. This really kept the communication between the department heads or the staff to work closer together. And then you update it in your weekly meetings. Did we get this done? Great, we did. We didn't? Okay, what do we still got to finish? And that spreadsheet becomes a report card. A report card, not in regards to, every week saying you didn't get this done, you didn't get that done, or you got this done. But really, it's if you think about that over a period of 6 months to a year, you've got something to look back on. And then you're going to do your annual review, not to get into that, but you're going to get into an annual review. It'd be nice to be able to look at something and not try to remember what they did, what they didn't, to see what was accomplished. And say, you did a lot last year, or you really fell behind last year. So to me, I like that type of accountability especially when you're in a small company and you're continually educating your staff. It's not like these are all high end. You're in a startup business. You have people that are still being taught. So, and then the last thing, again, because it's December and it's this time of the year, you really have to take advantage to me of meetings with your staff. And you do talk about what's happened this last year. What did we excel in, and what did we not do well with? And you talk about that. And that's just a meeting just to talk about those couple of things, whatever they are. And then you got to really talk about what are we going to do for next year? How are we going to resolve this to where this doesn't happen again, and we can meet timelines? These meetings are really, really crucial to me. And I wish there was another word besides meeting that meant something other than just people gathering in a room. Because, you want to walk away with January here is going to be next month, and every business is facing the same thing of, what are we going to do to start out the first quarter of 2021?
Mm-hmm.
That's
good point. Good point.
That's really it. Now, we did mention one other thing, and that is clients, real quickly.
Yeah, but you already talked about that.
Yeah, but the only thing I want to mention, one more thing about clients is that, stay close to your clients. And around holidays, you send them a card and you need to do all that. But you need to talk to all your clients if it's possible. You should talk to all your clients. Just call them and say, happy holidays. You're not calling up and do anything else. Happy holidays. Hope you enjoy your time with your family. Anything I can help you with, let us know. We're here. That's really all that you need to do during Christmas time. Very, very important that you stay close to your clients. That's all I want.
That's a really nice touch.
Thank you.
So our time's up. Our time is up.
Already?
Yes, already. Time flies when you're having fun.
Wow.
Anyway, so we're going to recap what we talked about today. So in order to run an efficient meeting, you want to make sure that you have a ringleader. You want to have someone that's responsible for coordinating the meeting and setting up the agenda. Number 2, you want to make sure that you have the expectation clearly identified, and whatever the rules for the engagement of that meeting is going to be communicated to the group as soon as the meeting begins. 3, make sure that you track time. Time is so important, especially during the month of December, but it's also important any time of the year. But you want to make sure that you track time. If for any other reason, because of discipline, and if you're able to keep your time in your meetings, that means that's going to translate over into your project deadline, and that's going to get everybody in the frame of mind that time is critical, it's important, so it doesn't matter if you're doing a meeting or actually working on a task, you want to make sure you get that done on time. So your meeting time frames should also echo your overall culture as far as respecting time. The next thing is setting goals for the meeting. What's the purpose of the meeting, and who is going to be executing certain things that need to be taken care of after the meeting. Or it might be somebody reporting on a file on something that was discussed or identified as a priority item that needed to be completed before the meeting. Those things need to be highlighted and brought to the attention of the group as part of the expectation. And last but not least, make sure that you take notes during the meeting, what's discussed, what are some of the action items, and who the responsible party is for the action items, and also anything that was reported that was completed prior to the meeting. anything that's important that needs to be captured and logged, so everybody's aware and everybody's on the same page. And that's pretty much from our standpoint as far as running an efficient meeting. I don't know if you had some last thoughts to add to that.
No, all this we're sharing with you is what we've been through, and we've had really a lot of successes with. So we hope that this has helped you.
Yes, and I guess that's it for us. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
That's this week's episode of Married to the Boss podcast.